introduce, I'm super excited to introduce our speakers today. If you don't know them, then perhaps you're not on the various social media sites that they are on, because they are outstanding contributors to the Schaumburg Business Association in our community. Julie has been on the board of directors for several years. Charlie, Julie, and I are all on the ambassador committee together. They sponsor, they're at tons and tons of events. They've done 57 podcasts, 107 2-Minute Tuesdays, and 84 blog posts. What have you done today? I know I can't stand up to that, but they are outstanding contributors to our community, and today they're going to tell us that sometimes our treasures that we go running around for and here, there, and everywhere to try to find, try to hook onto the latest and greatest thing, sometimes they're right where you are today. So usually they're making you slimmer and stronger. Today they're going to make you smarter. It's Charlie and Julie.
Thursday. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to do this whole talk without the microphone, so we're not doing the awkward pass back and forth. If you need us to talk louder, we'll talk louder. Also, my camera runs out after 30 minutes, so in 30 minutes time I'm going to restart it. That's why I'm going over there. But anyways, you know, we're really excited to present today. A lot of people have been asking us, hey, are you nervous about today or anything? What's interesting is we've been presenting on our business since our business started. And this presentation is kind of timely because in a week from today, it'll have been 5 years to the date that we started our business. So, for the last 5 years, we've been presenting about our business, but I think this is the first time that we're presenting on the business of our business. And so we're really excited to present this to you. We've learned a lot of stuff over the last 5 years. You know, I was looking out in the hall there, and they have these cool pictures of the Fairfield Inn & Suites, kind of from the groundbreaking and all the way up to its current state. And I like seeing those origin stories and seeing how something starts and then progresses into what it is today. And so today what we're offering you is a little bit of our own origin story, because we've had a lot of good times in the last 5 years and we've learned a lot of lessons, which is a really good thing, because some of those things we get to share with you today, and we hope that we get to give you some insight on your own business and things that you can do with your own business to kind of take yourself and your business to the next level.
So it was 5 years ago next week, the last day of January, that Charlie and I realized that we had to start our own business. And we both wanted to, because we thought, you know, we're young, we're millennials, of course we want to start our own business. But we also provided services and things that we wanted to provide to the community that would not fit in any other business. It wasn't going to fit in a chiropractic office, so we couldn't join them. It wasn't going to fit in physical therapy, and it wasn't going to fit in a big box gym like a Lifetime or an Export. So we knew we had to do our own thing because we weren't fitting with anyone else, at least in our minds. So over the years, we've had to figure out, how are we going to bring this thing that is completely unique and different and doesn't fit in any other category that everyone else is trying to categorize us in, and how are we going to make that acceptable to the community? Because if it's not accepted with you guys, then how are we going to stay in business? We don't have any clients without it. So we're hoping to share a lot of the lessons we've learned over the last 5 years to help you guys start thinking in your own businesses, how can I use this stuff that no one knows about with me to sell myself? Because that's how you'll get those repeat customers. That's how you'll get those quality customers.
So you may have seen this quote before. It's typically associated with Henry Ford, but the internet has some, you know, controversy as to whether or not he actually said it. But the point of the quote that we take away is that, for the most part, people think they know what they want, but they really don't know what they want. What most people think they want is a magnified, maybe fluffier, a little bit warmer version of what they have right now. They don't know about services that they don't know about. They don't know about products that they don't know about. So if they don't know about those things, they don't know that they want those things, okay? And so if you're only trying to take what's currently available and make that just a little bit better, you're essentially doing what Henry Ford allegedly said would be faster horses. And what we are saying is that each of you actually has automobiles within your industry that people don't know about. And that if you identify it, you can completely change the trajectory of your business by not only first identifying it, but then secondly, learning how to market those things. Because you can't just go around telling people about cars when they're used to horse and buggy. So you have to strategically nudge people in that direction.
So we have two big goals for you today. Number one, we need to help you identify the unknowns in your business. Maybe you're saying, well, Julie, we don't have something that's like completely unique and different. We actually have a lot of competitors. But there are things that you possess that make you unique and differentiate you. And our second goal is to help you visualize and figure out how are you going to then present that to the community so that, again, it's acceptable and inviting and it's something that people are excited about instead of scared about. Okay, so let's go into the first. We have 3 categories where your unknowns might live. And so as I go through these 3, I want you to start getting your brain juices going and start thinking, ooh, do I have something there? Do I have something there? Does my company have something there? So the first one is you have a completely unique and brand new product or service that you're bringing to this community. So you know you have that when you tell someone what you do and they have no idea what those words meant, right? So when Charlie and I first started in the SBA, we came around and we're like, we do muscle activation techniques. And there's no light bulbs going off. So how is someone going to hire me if they have no idea what muscle activation techniques mean? So think about your company, your brand, what you provide to the community. Do you do something that when you first tell someone about what you do, they have no idea what you just said? So it's not like dentistry, it's not like chiropractic where you have this clear picture, right? It's something brand new. So this could be a product or a service. The second category where your uniqueness might be is that you bring a personal quality that directly enhances the product or service that you're providing to the community. So it's something that you personally possess. And a really nice example of this is Jenny Abrams. Everyone knows Jenny up front. She's with Abrams Home Solutions, so you probably do know parts about what she does, which is staging, organizing. She helps with big life transitions. She helps people purge all their stuff, all that good stuff. But what you don't know is one of her personal qualities is that in the past she's a trained social worker. And this social work is really, really valuable and directly valuable to what she provides to her clients, which is going through stuff. I don't know about you, but every time I go through my stuff, I cry a little inside, I hold on to it, I put it in a bag and hide it before I get rid of it because it's pretty emotional. And if you can imagine, if you're going through a big life transition, that's pretty emotional. So Jenny's expertise and past experiences with working with her training with social working really enhances her service. So if clients knew that she was a past social worker, they might be, hey, well, this lady might be able to help guide me a little bit more, even though I need her home staging or organizing or transition work. She has this extra expertise. The third thing is that your company might have something totally unique and totally cool. Maybe it's a cool culture. Maybe it's a really unique software that people really love to do work with. So your company might possess the unique factor that you work for. So a lot of times these companies, if this is where your unique factor lives, you might also have a lot of competitors in the market. So maybe it's someone like HR, or the example I'm using today is Amita Health. You all know Amita Health is a healthcare system in the area, and they are not the only healthcare system in the area. She's got some competitors, right? So she's not completely unique. And I'm saying she because I'm about to bring up Roxanne Parikh. But Roxanne fills a really cool role within the Amita healthcare system that I find, and is what sold me on Amita, is completely unique and is really attractive to me. So Roxanne fills a role where she is a connector between the people living in the community and that might need the Amita healthcare services and the people working in the Amita healthcare field. So what's really nice is that you always know that you have a reliable person to talk to that's able to connect you appropriately, whereas before, if you wanted to research about Amita Health, you're probably looking at a very generic looking website, you're looking at like a bio of a doctor that's got like 2 sentences, and if you wanted to meet them, you have to go use your wellness visit from your insurance and then You gotta wait till next year to try a new one if you didn't pick the right one. So that's a really cool service that the Amita Healthcare as a business provides. Another cool business in the room today, obviously, is the Schaumburg Business Association. So the Schaumburg Business Association, you know, is not the only chamber in the area, so they're not unique in that factor. But what they do provide is a brand new service called Membership Appreciation. And they just started this last year, and Stephanie has been spearheading it. And what they are doing is they are going on-site, one-on-one with different companies in the SBA to learn what that individual company needs. And so this allows the SBA to better customize and tailor the products and services that the SBA is offering to better fit the needs of the membership, which is their goal anyways, to serve the membership. So think about those three categories. Do you have a product or service that's completely unique and different, and when you say it, people are still scratching their heads? Do you possess a personal quality trait that really directly enhances the product or service that you're going to provide for people? Or do you work for a company that has this stellar culture or a stellar service that really enhances someone's interface with you when they interface with the company?
Now, as you're thinking about your unknowns or your unique things, it can be kind of exciting thinking about these things, and we want you to be excited about them because we want those things to be at the forefront of your marketing. But the challenge with it is if you just put them out there all by themselves, people may not know where to categorize it. They're not going to know where to place it relative to everything else they're familiar with. So we need to talk about all the other stuff you do, and which may be a little bit more common and maybe a little bit more status quo, and what we're going to call, like Seth Godin says, the regular kind, okay? So there's a comfort to the regular kind. People know that when they go to a chamber, they're going to have different events that they can go to. They're going to meet different people, okay? People know that when they get involved with a hospital system, that they're going to meet different doctors. So there's a comfort to the regular kind. They put in a certain input, and they know they have an expected output that they're going to get, all right? But there's a challenge with the regular kind. There's a problem with it, and that's that it's regular, okay? It's not unique. It's not innovative. It's not solving a problem that's currently unsolved, okay? So where your opportunity lies is not necessarily in the regular kind, but in where you start to fringe away from the regular kind, where your unknowns are, where your differences are. Because one of the things with the regular kind is there's likely a lot of people already doing it, so the market is saturated. Not only that, but if the market is saturated and everybody's doing essentially the same thing, the biggest differentiator becomes on price. And when price becomes a differentiator, what happens is, again, to quote Seth Godin, it becomes a race to the bottom. And none of us want to be involved in a race to the bottom, where the only differentiator is, well, I can do it cheaper, I can do it cheaper, I can do it cheaper. We want to be able to provide services that, yes, people are accustomed to, but give them a phenomenal experience. Give them a phenomenal product, a phenomenal end use experience. So when they use that thing, the price doesn't matter quite so much as the experience itself. And it doesn't just become about, well, who can do it cheaper for me, because they start seeking out your unique things, your unknowns, your differentiators from the regular kind. So there's a really cool TED Talk that came out about 12 years ago that Malcolm Gladwell put out, okay? It's called Choice, Happiness, and Spaghetti Sauce. And you know, it's over 18 minutes long, so I encourage you to watch it because it's a really interesting kind of marketing-based one. And one of the conclusions that he draws in this talk that we alluded to earlier is people don't know what they want. They think they know what they want, but what they think they want and what they actually want are often different. And here's why. What most people think they want is what they're already accustomed to, all right? Already accustomed to, and maybe a little bit better than that, all right? But what they actually want is what works best for them, all right? So what people think they want is what we might call culturally authentic. In the video, Malcolm Gladwell goes into, this is where the spaghetti sauce comes in. He talks about ragu and Prego, all right? Two spaghetti sauce companies. And Ragu was dominating the spaghetti sauce market, all right? Outselling Prego like 6-1. And their spaghetti sauce was this culturally authentic version of spaghetti sauce. It's a spaghetti sauce that you would find in Italy because they figured, well, hey, Italians make the best spaghetti sauce, so we need to copy exactly what the Italians are doing and make it exactly like that. And Prego was sitting there and they're saying, well, look, our spaghetti sauce has these features, our spaghetti sauce has these features that are different. Why is nobody liking it? So they hired this guy to come in and do a whole bunch of variations of spaghetti sauce. What he found out is there's not a perfect spaghetti sauce. There's this perfect spaghetti sauces. And while that's a slight variation, that's a big difference. Because you could make spaghetti sauce that's culturally authentic, or you can make spaghetti sauce that's extra chunky. You can make spaghetti sauce that's zesty. You can make spaghetti sauce with a lot of garlic. And so all of a sudden, what happened was everybody who thought they wanted the culturally authentic realized that now with all these possibilities, they actually wanted what works best for them and what best suits their taste buds. And so that's why when you go into the supermarket today, there are 30 different kinds of spaghetti sauce and 57 different kinds of ketchup, okay? So there's all these different varieties because the food industry realized that what people wanted was not culturally authentic. What people wanted was what works best for them, okay? And so with that, when you're thinking about your business, if all you're doing is marketing to the status quo, marketing to the regular kind, you're missing the people who are actually really wanting what makes you unique, what makes you different, and what sets you apart from the regular kind.
So before we move on, I really want to encourage you, maybe even on the little sheets in front of you, if you haven't done so already, think about what is your unique factor? What are you bringing to the table that's above and beyond the regular kind? Because as we're talking about this regular kind, you could probably think of the stuff that you're doing that, you know, you have competitors. It is the regular kind. When I say it, people know what I'm talking about. It's acceptable in the community today. I see it all over marketing and whatever. But think about your unique factor. And remember those 3 categories that we went over. Maybe it's a product or service that when you say it, no one knows about it. Maybe it's a personal trait that you bring to the table. Maybe you have the most amazing customer service. You have the best people skills. Or like Jenny, you have past training in something that directly impacts and enhances an experience. Or maybe you work for a company that has amazing software and every client that comes to you loves the interface with the software. Or the culture that you guys have. Or the way that the company treats clients. So think about those, write at least one of them down because we're going to be jumping into how do we get that to the community? How do we get that differentiator factor? Because we can't all be in a race to the bottom. So, does everyone have something written down or some idea? Yes? Yeah? Okay, good. At least this side, this row nodded. Yes. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay, let's move on. Let's figure out how are we going to present this unique factor that you have and you own and make it inviting and exciting for people rather than something intimidating or scary or unknown.
So again, the challenge is how do you market your unknown while still appealing to the comfort of the regular kind? Because while you don't want to, you want to differentiate yourself from the status quo, you can't be so far out there that people don't know what to do with you, okay? So this is where we start to provide this how-to guide of how to implement it.
So the first thing is that your unknown has to be in the forefront of your marketing. Like people, when they interface with you, they've got to figure out pretty quickly, like, you're a little different. And it's not too much of a scary difference. And the way that you make it not too much of a scary different is that you combine it with your regular kind. Okay, so you have to put these into a blend. And Charlie and I learned this the hard way because we were not presented with this information, so we had to figure it out. When Charlie and I first joined the SBA, we were so excited because there were so many people who were like, we have such a valuable service, Charlie. These people need it. Let's go tell them they need us. So our first year of membership, Charlie and I went into every single networking meeting at the SBA. We went like every week. We were like, if there's 2 meetings, we're there twice. Because we had 0 clients and we needed clients in real life. Because we needed to provide our important services that no one knew about. So every time we entered a networking meeting, we had a strategy. And it would be something like this. Okay, Charlie, we're going to meet 3 new people, and all 3 of those people, we're going to tell them about MAT. We're going to tell them about muscle activation techniques because they need to hear about it because they don't know about it. And after an entire year, we were exhausted. Number 1, we had no clients from it. And number two, I mean, I'm really social. It's like telling someone about muscle activation techniques. You're like, wow, so interesting. Should we get, I think I need something to drink. So yeah, so those are my 3 conversations. So obviously, if you're a salesperson, you're probably like, well, Julie, there's a lot of things we can work on with that. But anyways, every conversation was very shallow like that because I was bringing up an idea that no one knew about. And I was saying words that no one could put a picture to. So anyways, a year goes by, we had no business from the SBA, and we were tired, and we felt like, okay, we gotta change. So actually, I remember saying specifically to Charlie in our Monday morning meeting, and I said, Charlie, I don't know how long I'm gonna do this, but all I'm gonna talk about is personal training. When people ask me what I do, I'm gonna say I'm a personal trainer. Period, done, that's it. And why? When I said personal trainer, did you guys have a picture come in your head? You kind of have an inkling of what I'm talking about when I said personal trainer, right? And although the training that I have received for personal training is very different than what just popped in your head, and if you've come to my studio, it's very different than what you just thought of, at least when I said personal training, you weren't like, okay. Right? There was something there. There was some response. There was some idea. And that year, my business turned into 30 to 40% straight from the SBA. In 1 year. It was really cool. I was like, yay, I can stay alive. People are paying me money. And I get to do what I love and help them with their health. That was the big important thing to me. So then we came across this thing. We're like, okay, so how are we going to go from this thing where people just view us as these personal trainers, and every time they describe us, we know they're thinking of us wrong because they'll be like, hey, Julie and Charlie, let's get down and do 50 push-ups. And that's really not our style. We actually do personal training to promote people's health, and we're very biomechanically minded, so that's something we actually would never say to someone. Or using exercise as punishment, or using, you know, the silly things people bring up to us, which is fine, and we love that people are engaging with us, but it also made us realize that people are still getting the wrong picture. Even though it's a picture, and it led to business, it wasn't really the picture we wanted to bring up. So after we were able to build that trust and invite people into our studio by using what we have as our regular kind, our personal training, and we didn't use any of our unique factor, well, minimally, we were able to start now bringing up muscle activation techniques again, because people trusted us. People knew who we are. Yes, they saw our faces every week, so I think that really helped, but also there was a comfort level to knowing a little bit about what we do. We're approachable now. So when you're thinking about marketing your unknown, which is your big seller, which is why people hang around with us. I've had clients with me since the day we started. I think my first client's coming up on his 5-year anniversary, and he will be with me probably till he retires and moves away, I don't know. So think about that. We have to be combining this regular kind to bring the comfort and to bring the approachability. And then later, and if you're not as weird as Charlie and I, then you can also add in your unique factor, which is what makes people more curious, which keeps people hanging around, which keeps people picking you over all your other competitors.
So that's how we kind of integrated it within face-to-face interactions. And virtually, we had to go through the same thing as well. Specifically, we're going to show you some snapshots from our Instagram profile, okay? Our business Instagram profile, which has been up for just over 4 years, or coming up on 4 years now, okay? So if you look, people would ask us all the time, well, what is muscle activation techniques? What does it look like? How do you what does a session look like? So like, okay, we're gonna start creating content specifically about MAT. So we take pictures in sessions and we post it up, and it would gain like no traction. Like, I liked it, my mom liked it, and like six other people that might consider purchasing our service liked it, okay? So this was back in 2015. So what we realized is we introduced the unknown too soon. We needed to start to change things. So what did we do? We switched to the regular kind. If you look at this photo, like from an Instagram perspective, it's objectively a worse photo. Meaning there's a lot of text on there, the text is a little blurry, a little bit hard to read, but the picture looks like what people are already familiar with. So we started seeing that we were gaining more traction. Yes, I liked it, yes, my mom liked it, but 35 other people, 36 other people still liked it, okay? So we started with the regular kind. Then we started to play into what people already believe, and I'm realizing that you can't see see the red there that much, but what it looks like is an EKG